Good morning and welcome back. This is Dr. Collum, Conway Public Schools Superintendent, and I am here this morning with Miss Linda Hargis, who has served on the board now for almost 2 years. And we are continuing the series, Get to Know Your School Board Member. And so I want to begin first by welcoming Ms. Hargis to this series and thank you for your service as a board member. So we're going to dive right into our questions. And tell me, Ms. Hargis, what inspired you to serve as a school board member and what do you love about being a school board member?
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor. When I retired, I was in this district for 33 years as a teacher and an administrator. And when I retired, I really thought about running for the board, but I just never really felt led to do it. And then it just kind of slipped off the radar. And then I had a group of parents come to me 2 years ago, some of them my former students, and asked me if I would run. And my first reaction was no. And then they said, you know, just meet with us, talk with us, and I did. And they had some concerns, but I really went home and I prayed about it, talked to my family about it, and I thought about how much this district has given me. A 33-year career that was awesome. I have 3 children that graduated from here. They got excellent educations, which afforded them to go to college. They all went on academic scholarships and athletic scholarships. And I made lifelong friends. The very first lady I walked in when I was at the junior high, the very first day I walked in and I was subbing, was Linda Glover and Pam Palmer. They literally embraced me. And they are still my lifelong friends. And I have so many others in the district. And so I thought, you know, Conway's given me a lot. So I think maybe it's time that I might try to give back.
Yes, ma'am. And
so that is the main reason that I ran, is that I want to serve this district and this community.
And when you talk about the role of service as a board member, that's exactly what it is. You volunteer your time, your mental efforts, your thoughts, the time at board meetings, and then the phone calls and the emails and all the extra that comes with no pay. And so I want to say thank you for that and the work that you put in. You taught in the district, you were an administrator in the district, and now serving as a board member. Your time on the board, what have been some of your favorite achievements, projects? What are things that you look at that we're getting ready to focus on that you're excited about?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the first year I was on the board, it was right after COVID. And my passion is reading, English, and our reading scores were down. And I thought, you know, there is something that we can do to help this outside of teachers and administrators. So I asked Jennifer Cunningham and Cindy Naylor if they would band with me and let's go into some elementary schools and help kids with just basics. Like the kindergarten, first grade, third grade, they lost basically 2 years of school. So teach them the alphabet, teach them sounds, blends. And they said, absolutely. Well, then I went out into the community to a lot of organizations that had senior citizens, retired people, and I asked for volunteers, and those people jumped at the chance. I think we ended up with like 25 that first year, and that's what we did. Alphabet, sounds, all that. Well, this year, when school started, I mean, I got inundated from these volunteers. When is the reading program started? So I went to Megan Duncan, who certainly didn't need any more on her plate, but she's phenomenal anyway.
Absolutely.
So she absolutely jumped in. I gave her the names of the volunteers. She set it all up. And they started this year and basically went to Theodore Jones. But this year, instead of the basics, they worked on listening and comprehension, which so many kids, they read and they get through a paragraph and they have no idea what they read. I even do that sometimes. But that's what we focused on this year. And we had to stop, I guess, last Friday because of testing, all the testing that gets going in May. Here come my people again. Why are we stopping? We hadn't finished our work yet. We're just now getting started. And so I'm excited about next year. I want to start early, and I want to go as long as we can. I'm also tickled to death that our teachers got the raise they got.
I agree, absolutely.
I'm a teacher advocate.
Yes, ma'am.
I love them. They're my heroes, and I was never more excited to see them get a raise as I was this year because it was pretty significant. I'm excited about the building project at the junior high.
Yeah.
That's where I spent my whole career, was in that building. And I remember when the new part was built, I think we had 1,100 to 1,200 kids, and that's basically what that building was built for. And now what do we have, 1,600?
Right at 1,600.
They're coming out the seams.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm excited about what's in the future for our junior high. I love the junior high.
And that's very easy to see.
I have some great stories about the junior high. You know me and my boots. Since I married my husband, I wear cowboy boots.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was just booking it down that hall, and you know the cameras? Well, I slipped, and my arms were flailing, but I kept on my feet.
In Texas, we call that the boot scoot boogie.
Yep. One of my dear, dear friends decided everybody in junior high needed a laugh. So they put that video out there. And you know what? I was glad. At the end of the day, I'm sure they all got a good laugh.
You got to be able to laugh.
That's right.
At yourself. So, well, as you can hear and as you know, community members, you can see the passion once you've taught and you've inspired a child, that passion never goes away. And so what I appreciate that Ms. Hargis brings to this role as a board member is she constantly reminds me, Jeff, don't forget about what those teachers have to do in the classroom. And don't forget about the schedules and all the demands that go on in the classroom. And so I appreciate that perspective that she keeps at the forefront of what we're doing in our district. And so you can hear it as we're talking, just the advocacy for what those teachers have to deal with on a daily basis. And so this segues into the next question, and having served now for 2 years on the board, what do you believe are essential qualities of an effective board member?
That's an interesting question because the very first year, my idea of what a board member did was very skewed because I've just always thought, you know, you call a board member and they go fix it. And I got a lot of calls in the beginning because of my connections in the school district. And I did just that. I came flying over here wanting to fix it all. We got it, and you know me, I didn't want it fixed today. I wanted it fixed yesterday.
Yeah.
And I very much appreciate your patience with me and your kindness. Because he spent a lot of time saying, Linda, we don't get in the everyday business of the school district. So I learned that. Took me a little while, but I learned it. I think one thing is our job supporting you, supporting our administrators, and supporting our teachers. I think that we're here to give you the tools and what you need to do your jobs and make this district successful.
Yes, ma'am.
Listening, key. Listening to parents, teachers, administrators, and you. Again, my passion for teachers is just almost overwhelming to me. Because when they call me, it is my first instinct to fix it.
Yeah.
It's my very first instinct. But I've learned to listen and then bring it to you.
Yeah.
And it's your job to fix it, or your job to find someone else that can fix it and
Yeah.
will fix it. So, I mean, that's, and two, ask questions. I think we're here to ask questions.
Absolutely.
Ask parents questions, ask teachers questions. Because I'll say it again, your teachers are on the front line. They know what's going on in the classroom. They know what works in a classroom. They know the curriculum that works in a classroom. They know the ins and outs of discipline. So we need to talk to our teachers and we need to listen to them. Because when they feel valued and ownership, they're going to give you over 100%.
I agree, and I think, again, the thing that you've helped us keep on the forefront of board meetings, board agenda discussions, and our actions on a day-to-day basis, what is going on in the classroom, whether it's discipline, reading instruction, mentoring, tutoring, whatever it is, how does that affect what our teachers are being asked to do on a daily basis? And so I really do appreciate that perspective, and I want to highlight what you said about being good listeners. It's a constant reminder we have to listen. Those are the front lines. The teacher-student interaction every day is the most important interaction that we have. So if we're not listening to the feedback of what's going well or what's not going well, then we can't really help. And I appreciate your role in that, the advocacy that you keep and maintain. Don't ever lose that.
I won't.
And I know you won't. But
after being in the classroom for 25 years,
yes, ma'am.
It's high priority.
And in our conversations, we talk, weekly, and when we do talk, you always remind me and encourage me, again, don't forget what those teachers are dealing with. Also talk to my mother almost every morning. And so between you and my mother, y'all keep me grounded.
That's good.
Yes, ma'am. And Mom taught for 42 years. She was a reading teacher, an early childhood teacher. And she takes me back to don't forget fundamentally what we need to focus on. To make sure that kids are getting what they need to be successful in schools. And so there's a lot of other pieces that fly around that we have to deal with, from facilities and finances and all these pieces. But that part in the classroom is definitely the most important thing that we do. So I appreciate you bringing that as a board member. Okay, final question, and I love this question. You've been in this community a while. You've had kids and grandkids that have gone through this school system. And being a Wampus Cat is a special privilege. So what does it mean to you to be a Wampus Cat?
Well, I really think I've already said it all. When we first moved here in 1980, we only had 2 children at that time. So I started subbing in the junior high. And I got a long-term assignment the second semester of that first year. And then I was hired that next year. So I've spent 33 years all over this district.
Wow.
Like I said, my kids, they got an excellent education from this school that put them through college, that afforded them the opportunity for great careers that they have right now.
Yeah.
The friends, all of it. 33 years in the district and 40-something in this town, I am more than proud to be a Wampus Cat.
I love that, and every time I ask that question, you can feel the passion and the commitment to Conway schools, Conway as a community, and I'll even go back to the day that I interviewed for the job, and I had to ask, what is a Wampus Cat? But I know now, I know exactly what a Wampus Cat is now. I have 3 sons that are Wampus Cats, and we share that pride. And so there's so many great things going on in this community, and there's such a commitment to our schools. And I appreciate our time today with Ms. Hargis as a board member and as a community member, just the legacy of passion and commitment to make sure that our schools are taken very good care of. So thank you, Ms. Hargis, for your time. You have any final comments or thoughts you want to leave with us?
I guess I could take a jab at you.
If that's what you want to do.
I was born and raised in Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And outside of Arkansas,
we're not so bad.
I'm everything but a Texas Longhorn. I'm a Baylor Bear.
She's a Baylor Bear, and I'll hold that against her.
But I like your passion for Texas. I love Texas. I'm an Arkansan, but I'm a Texan too.
She did it, y'all. She got it in there. That's that old Longhorn Baylor Bear battle. But thank you again, Ms. Hargis, for your time. I'm excited to continue this series. We wrap it up next with Dr. David Naylor. But thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon. Go Cats.
Thank you.